Coming up on today's Locked On Angels, we are starting our brand new series, Making the Case, where we explore the top free agents and why the Angels might or might not sign those players. And today, we start with Marcus Stroman. That's all right now on Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Locked On Angels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day every single day. I'm your host, Steve Granado. Thanks for checking us out here today. You can follow me over on Twitter at Steve Granado, Granado. And of course, our Locked On account is at Locked On Angels. Before we get started here and talking about Marcus Stroman and some of the pitching options here for the Angels in 2022, at least going into 2022, don't forget my merch, 2-7 merch. I'm wearing it right now. If you're watching on YouTube, and of course you listen on the audio side, just trust me, I'm wearing it. I got it right here. I got the original 2-7 logo sweater. Came out really sweet. First time I get to wear it on the show. I love it. Nice and warm, but not too warm, Good for a colder night here in California, but it's not going to make you sweat. I dig this sweater. You should check it out. It's available on Redbubble. Of course, we got other stuff as well, including the Shohei Ohtani MLB logo, Rory's words, honoring the 2002 World Series Angels. And of course, we got the Just the Halo stickers and shirts available as well. It's all available on Redbubble, linked in the episode description. All right, as mentioned, this kicks off our brand new series. We're going to be doing this throughout the offseason now. This is called Making the Case. So we're going to split this up in 3 different ways. Here at the top, we're going to start positively and say, making the case why the Angels should sign a certain player. And again, we're talking about Marcus Stroman, the starting pitcher here today. So segment number 1, we're going to talk, this is why the Angels should and will sign him. Will. Segment number 2, we will go, this is why they won't, and they will not sign Marcus Stroman. And then we'll give you our final thoughts and a verdict at the end. So we're going to lay out all the information that we have. And essentially, this is going to feel like a courtroom a little bit, a courtroom drama. We're going to pitch both sides, and then we're going to make the decision at the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with Marcus Stroman. Again, Marcus Stroman, free agent, no qualifying offer. That means there is nothing tied to him. He's a straight-up free agent. Anyone can sign him, including the Angels. So let's talk about Marcus Stroman. And again, we're going to talk on the positive side things here first. This is why the Angels will sign Marcus Stroman. Let's go take it back to last offseason. 2020, Stroman was up for a qualifying offer from the Mets, and he ended up taking it. Before he took that offer of $18.9 million for 1 year to go pitch in New York, the MLB trade rumors, I'm sure you know who they are, predicted that Marcus Stroman would sign with the Angels in 2020. Again, he took the qualifying offer and obviously did not go to free agency. But Stroman, by MLB trade rumors, who are a little hit and miss with their predictions, to be brutally honest, but did get a couple of them right the last offseason, predicted that Marcus Stroman would sign with the Angels. Okay, but now, moving into 2021 and the 2022 season, MLB Trade Rumors had a 3-person panel, which was different than the predictions from last year. Of the 3 on the panel predicting where he would land, one of them said Anaheim, one of them said Minnesota, and the other one said the Dodgers. So, a little mixed bag there, but obviously the Angels are certainly still tied to Marcus Stroman. Here's the case for him. Why would you sign a Marcus Stroman? Well, number 1, aside from him being a very talented pitcher, obviously, number 1, I think, is he is extremely durable. He is a guy that is averaging just shy of 200 innings every season. Just shy of 200 innings. The last Angels pitcher to pitch 200 innings in one season, Garrett Richards in 2015, he had 207.1 innings pitched that year. Since then, no one has even come close to 200 innings pitched. So that is massive. Stroman's a guy that's going to get you 30 starts and 200 innings. Innings that need to be eaten. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. These innings need to be pitched, and the Angels need someone who is durable and is reliable. Something they just have not had. Straight up have not had. Marcus Stroman presents a guy that is that. Something that the Angels have lacked for years and years and years. There it is right there. So number 1, durability. Angels need it. They just straight up need it. The Angels haven't had a true starting pitcher to eat innings in a very long time. You think a couple of years back, Andrew Heaney was, logging up near 200, over 150. Shohei led the club. This past year, he was the only guy that hit 100 this year. So the Angels have always had a mixed bag of guys trying to eat innings. Marcus Stroman, straight up, will eat those innings for you. So that's number one. Number two, he has aged really well. His mentality, again, we're talking about Stroman here, seems to be one that continues to really learn about pitching. And he's one of these guys, if you're looking for intangibles, is a guy that's super honest with himself. So he's not really a guy who is going to continue to try and force things. So if there's something that isn't working, then he's going to be a player that is going to go, you know what, let me learn from these mistakes and maybe not make those mistakes in the past anymore and try to do something differently. He's one of those pitchers. And I'm not saying that all major league pitchers aren't like this, but Marcus Stroman seems to be at the forefront of his mentality of pitching, right? So if he is on this free agent market looking for a longer term deal, 4, 5, maybe even 6 years, if he's one of these guys that is looking for something like that, then this might be probably the safest bet. We've talked about Max Scherzer, who's a free agent this year, and a guy who, at his age, granted that he has pitched extremely well later in his career, and is, up for a Cy Young in 2021. But there's the age concern and there's the injury concern. He's not invincible to something like that. Marcus Stroman, while obviously he's not invincible either, is a guy that is aging really, really well. So there's that. And especially with him being honest with himself, as the velocity inevitably dips, man, that's hard to say, as it goes down as he gets older, he's a guy that's going to be adjusting and learning about himself and changing the way he pitches as he gets older to remain dominant in Major League Baseball. So that's a huge one. Stroman is not a strikeout first pitcher, right? Even though that's true, his strikeout totals and rate have started to rise over the last couple of years, simultaneously while his walk totals have started to steadily decline. It's not massive jumps, but the numbers are shifting more and more favorably for him, strikeouts to walk-wise. He's a guy that pitches to contact, especially that he plays well for ground balls, which the Angels have a very strong save shortstop right now, a very strong infield. So a guy that's going to pitch, is starting to pitch more for strikeouts, or at least that's just kind of the nature of how it's been going, walk less, and a guy who's getting a lot more ground balls, that's going to play well for the Angels in their infield, an infield that is locked up pretty well, at least at third, second, and first, with shortstop being the question mark right now. If the Angels land a decent, shortstop or second baseman, however it works out with Fletcher, then the infield is extremely solid as far as defense is concerned. So that's going to play very, very well. That is just going to be one of the biggest strengths for Stroman if you're looking at a team strategy there, right? His pitching style focuses very much on location as opposed to velocity or maximum break. He's thinking more spin rate kind of thing, and which, again, to go back to an older point, is going to play longer or play better long term. If I could speak English, that would be great. So he would just be a good fit. Just straight up, I think Marcus Stroman would be a very good fit in Anaheim. And it seems like the time is now for him as a player to finally land that contract. And not only to finally land that contract, for him as a player, I think a team investing in him long term and a team saying, "You're our ace, do it. You handle this rotation. You're the leader of this staff." I think that's going to play so well for Marcus Stroman. And whoever does eventually land Stro is going to look great for 2022, 23, 24, and however long that ends up being. So Marcus Stroman is definitely... There's a reason why this is the first making the case, because I think this is the strongest case to be made. This seems to be the safest bet if you're worried about cost effectiveness moving forward. This is a guy that you can invest in and you can believe in, and he can lead your staff. And I think right now is the perfect time to get in on Marcus Stroman. All right, coming up next, we are exploring the opposite side of things. Why the Angels won't sign Marcus Stroman. But before we do that, we are back and better than ever. There's a new web interface for the start of basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Of course, I am talking about BetOnline, who is sponsoring today's episode. It remains your number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. And of course, they got a brand new updated desktop and mobile website, and you can sign up today and get a 50% welcome bonus. That's 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit using promo code Locked On. No numbers, no nonsense, Locked On to receive that bonus. That's the promo code. Basketball, football, NHL, boxing, UFC, even Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Back here on Locked On Angels, Steve Granado with you here today, as I am every day, 5 days a week. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Let's go ahead and explore the opposite side of things here. Why the Angels won't sign Marcus Stroman. And this is where the pessimism is going to come in, which I know is a little bit rampant in the Angels fan base right now, especially considering how things have gone over the years. So let's go ahead and talk about those negativities right now. From a baseball perspective, this isn't, how things have gone recently, but just from a baseball perspective, we talked about Stroman's ability to get ground balls, and again, the strikeout rates are raising slightly. But the Angels, for years, their mentality has been favoring fly ball pitchers, which Marcus Stroman is not, which is obviously a good thing now as baseball is continuing its shift into long ball style of play throughout the game, right? Which is favoring home runs, instant offense, and launch angles that are favoring the long ball. So that is one of the things the Angels have always focused on as far as when they're constructing their pitching staffs, is playing to Angels Stadium, right? Which has a little bit higher or a thicker air, especially late at night. We are going to be playing all your games, and majority of your games here are being played at night in Anaheim. The air gets thicker, and therefore that marine layer will stop fly balls from leaving the ballpark. So there you go. That is why the Angels typically have favored fly ball pitchers. Here's something I found online from Twitter. This is Matthew Brownstein from a Mets blog site called Metsmerized, which is part of the USA Today network. Of the 513 outs Marcus Stroman recorded in 2021, 207 of them came via groundouts, which was the eighth most in Major League Baseball. That's 40.4% of his outs. 40.4% of his outs. If you add his strikeouts, which is 158 this past year, 71.2% of his total outs last season came on either groundouts or strikeouts, aka not in the air. So 71% of his outs come not in the air. So that's only 29% or so are fly balls, line outs, that type of thing. So that is one thing I think might deter the Angels, again, since if they're still trying to push the fly ball narrative and construction of their staff, then that might be one thing where they're going, well, he's not a fly ball pitcher, just straight up. Again, we've talked about it. I think that's a good thing that he's not necessarily a fly ball pitcher. And of course, if you're looking at that one thing, which obviously they're looking at a multitude of factors when looking at signing free agents and trading for guys, but if you're looking at this one thing here, might be getting a hair outdated, even considering the ballpark factors in Anaheim. In 2014, let's go back to 2014, the last year the Angels were really in contention, AL West champions, and moved on to play in the postseason against the Royals. Last time they were there 7 years ago. The Angels had the 8th fewest home runs at Angel Stadium. 8th fewest home runs at Angel Stadium. But they hit the 9th most home runs as a team in the majors. So the offensive side of those numbers are still there, right? You got your big thumps in the lineup with Trout, Walsh, and Ohtani as guys who are going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, right? So those are your guys that those numbers are going to stick there right around there from 2014. But as we have shifted, the Angels have started to give up more and more home runs throughout the years. So they clearly are going to want to try and drop that, right? But if they still believe in the fly ball thing, then maybe that might not be the focus. Maybe they can find outs elsewhere and find innings elsewhere, just because of the nature of how they have constructed their rosters in recent years. So it doesn't seem like the Angels would sign him because of that, right? and this is where the pessimism side comes in. The Angels, for many years now at this point, have just completely not been able to sign free agent pitching. They just haven't been able to do it. They have fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line time and time and time again, right? If I have to give you a reminder, here's the reminders. 2020, Angels missed out on Taijuan Walker, Blake Treinen, and, of course, Marcus Stroman, who ended up accepting the offer. 2019, Angels missed out on Garrett Cole, Steven Strasburg, Zach Wheeler, Hyunjin Ryu, and Dallas Keuchel. 2018, also missed out on Dallas Keuchel, Nate Eovaldi, and Lance Lynn. And then in 2017, missed out on Jeremy Hillickson and Rich Hill. All guys I thought would have been great signings for the Angels to really shut down the staff in a good way, and just fumbled the ball on every single one. So there is a poor track record for the Angels in signing free agent pitching. Is Marcus Stroman a guy that they're looking at and saying, you know what, let's go all in and finally do it? That's to be seen at this point. We don't know if that's going to be the case. But right now, recent memory, the Angels just have not favored guys who don't get fly ball outs and guys that are big name free agents. They have just completely flubbed it, to be brutally honest. And we'll see, is that going to happen in 2021? Alrighty, here on Locked On Angels, Steve Granado. Let's go ahead and say it right here, our final thoughts, and we're also going to dive into what you guys think. We asked you over on Twitter here before today's episode. We polled you, and this is what you said. We asked you, will the Angels sign Marcus Stroman this offseason? A little split. 57.7% saying yes, 42.3% saying no. So it is fairly close as far as Angels fans are concerned, where they think yes or no, they will or will not sign Marcus Stroman. Of course, we brought this up on last week's one of last week's episodes. I believe it was on the Friday episode. Marcus Stroman tweeting about it. He has talked about this multiple times and has engaged with fan bases on Twitter and has really engaged with the Angels fan base while the Angels have made pitches themselves at trying to sign Marcus Stroman. Of course, he replied to somebody on Twitter the other day saying that coming to the Angels could be a great fit. And it's kind of weird because I even got replies from the poll question that fans were saying could be a good fit. Could be a good fit. I got that time and time again. So that seems to be turning into a bit of a rallying cry. Stroh said that last week, could be a great fit. So that's kind of turned into a thing. Hey, could be a great fit. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge at Stroh, So again, 57, nearly 58% of Angels fans saying yes, they will. Close. It's obviously not up to us, but it's nice to see that there is a little bit of optimism amongst the Angels fan base. And here, again, I'll just give you my final thoughts. I think you know where I stand at this point. If this is our first Making the Case guy, you probably think, yeah, I'm going to go and assume this is who Steve wants to sign. Yes, that's where I'm at. I think aside from getting a strong pitcher, just flat out a good starting pitcher, an ace level, could jump up to an ace level starting pitcher, and a guy that can lead your staff, this just goes a long way in potentially landing free agents in the future. If you are not hopeful about 2022, but you might be thinking, hey, that young pitching depth in the bullpen might be coming to fruition in 2023 or 2024 or 2025, Marcus Stroman can be a guy that gets other free agents excited, gets other free agents on board. If you think 2023 free agents heading into that season, Jacob deGrom, Taijuan Walker, both former teammates, Aaron Nola and Nathan Eovaldi. So some really big names are still going to be potentially available moving into 2023. And Marcus Stroman is a guy that could send a signal from the Angels that they are serious about competing, and that shows other free agents that they can come and play in a competitive atmosphere alongside two of the best players of a generation. So there's a multitude of good reasons to sign Marcus Stroman, and there really aren't a ton of bad ones. Just straight up. I think if you're looking for the safest bet right now in this free agent class without taking on too much of a risk, especially with age and with injury proneness, Marcus Stroman is the best guy to sign if you are the Angels. And you know what? I'm going to play the optimist here because it's easy to play the pessimist, especially the way the last couple of years have gone. I'm going to say the Angels do sign Marcus Stroman this offseason. There you go. I'm going err on the side of happiness. I'm going to err on the side of positivity, just like Marcus Stroman does. And the Angels could really use him. The Angels would, I can't imagine they wouldn't want to have him. Angels fans would love to have him. And he's just I think it's just a perfect fit. It just, hey, you know what? It could be a great fit. There you go. I want to get your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below here if you're watching on YouTube. Let me know. Do you think the Angels will sign Marcus Stroman? Do you think the Angels should sign Marcus Stroman? I'll be hanging out in the comments, talking with you guys here on the YouTube side. Of course, you can always shoot me a tweet as well at Locked On Angels or at Steve Granado, Granado. Give me a voicemail. Maybe you'll be able to be on a couple future episode here, Locked On Angels. Give me a call, 714-409-6396. Save that number to your phone. It is in the episode description. It's in the podcast description. It's everywhere. You can't not find that phone number. Save it in your phone and give me a call. Let me know. Do you think the Angels will sign him, or do you think the Angels should, or do you think the Angels shouldn't? That's 714-409-6396, 714-409-6396. Don't forget to check out my merch, 27 merch. This is great, man. I love this. I love this sweater. I've been wearing it like the last couple of days. I love it. I'm wearing it everywhere I can. We also have the Shohei Ohtani MLB logo, of course, just the halo, the original logo like I'm wearing here today, and of course Rory's words honoring the 2002 World Series Angels. It's available right now on Redbubble, linked in the episode description. You can check out my other podcast as well, Our Game, examining the Latin contributions to American baseball. We asked the question, who is the Latino Jackie Robinson? And found out that the answer got way more complicated. If you're looking for a great history baseball podcast and you are looking for new information on things you have never heard about potentially, well, then look no further than Our Game. It is free and available on all audio podcast platforms everywhere. And of course, my other podcast, which has nothing to do with baseball, Movies I Should Have Watched. If you're looking for a movie podcast, a movie review podcast to turn your brain off and not think about free agency and not thinking about the CBA negotiations and not thinking about all the bad things in the world, you can check out Movies I Should Have Watched. It's a podcast where my best friend Alex and I are watching all the old movies and seeing if they hold up in 2021. We have a full list of movies on there. There is guaranteed to be a movie in there that you love. Again, that's Movies I Should Have Watched, available everywhere. I want to thank you for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. For your second listen, check out MLB Prospects, or Locked On MLB Prospects. Host RM Layton is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's available for free, and it's available everywhere. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us in today's Locked On Angels. I want to thank you so much for checking us out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. And, of course, hit auto downloads on your audio side. That way, every morning when you wake up, there is a brand new episode of Locked On Angels waiting for you on your phone. You don't got to stream it. It's already downloaded, and you're ready to go on your commute or whatever you got to do. Go to work out in the gym, whatever you're going to do. We, again, will be hanging out in the comments here on the YouTube side. Tell me about Marcus Stroman or other free agent targets you have. We will continue the Making the Case series throughout the offseason. All right, guys, thanks so much for checking us out. We'll talk to you guys with more Angel stuff tomorrow. Later.